All right. So we're moving now to blood clotting. All right. Process of blood clotting. Um, you ever wonder how your blood clots? Like when you get a cut, why it stop bleeding? Anybody ever wonder?
Sir, brother, sir, I don't know, sir.
Ah, trust me, it's a fascinating process. You know, there's a blood condition called hemophilia. Um, Persons with hemophilia have to avoid getting cut or scratched because you could get a very little cut and you just bleed to death because your blood is unable to clot. No, here's this video that I have. I'm gonna see if I can watch it before I start. Um, yes, but there's a lot of things that we don't really think about, but here they are not true. And it's rightly so because if you're supposed to think about these things, I mean, life would be something else. So that my internet is not too slow. The video is unavailable. All right. So I don't know what happened there, but they said the video is not available.
Sir, then Google, you research it then, sir.
We searched what the video.
Yes, sir. Sir, but I told sir, me now want, but me alright now.
Okay. It's a nice video, man. It's been a while, so I think they removed. I don't know if the person removed it or what. Let me see if I find a different one. Let's try this. I think it's similar to this one.
Do you remember tripping over as a kid and cutting your knee, and then magically the bleeding suddenly stops? Or have you ever wondered why this happens? Our body is very clever and produces substances to seal off the open wound. In this video, we are going to look at how and why blood clots. Clotting prevents us from bleeding to death, and also
I'm trying to turn it up a
protects us
little.
from nasty disease-causing organisms called pathogens entering our body. When we injure ourselves, we can damage the blood vessels just below our skin.
Everybody here in the video?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This can cause blood to either leak into our tissue and form a bruise, or if the skin is broken, to openly bleed. To prevent these horrible things happening, blood clotting occurs. So let's have a look at how this happens. Starting with platelets. These are tiny cell fragments that float around in our blood. When a blood vessel is damaged, collagen is exposed. This collagen exposure attracts platelets to the injured area. The platelets then stick together to form a plug. They've quickly built a barrier that stops us from losing too much blood. However, this platelet plug isn't that strong, so it needs to be made stronger. A protein called fibrin does exactly that. In our blood, there are soluble fibrinogen proteins. At a wound, these soluble fibrinogen proteins are exposed to outside chemicals that aren't normally found in blood vessels. Like with the collagen and platelets, this exposure causes the fibrinogen proteins to turn into sticky fibrin fibers. The fibrin fibers form a mesh, holding all the platelets together and making a much stronger clot. More platelets, red blood cells and other components in our blood all get stuck to the mesh, making it even stronger. This clot stops more blood escaping the body and also prevents nasty pathogens entering our body from the outside. The clot develops into a scab, which protects the wound as it heals, and new layers of skin form underneath. So really, all a scab is just platelets trapped in the fibrin mesh. It is like putting a plug in a sink. When the new skin is fully formed, the scab will fall off, revealing the lovely brand new skin underneath. A final thing to note, remember that I said the exposure to the collagen causes the platelets to stick together, and the exposure to the outside chemicals causes the fibrinogen to turn into sticky fibrin. Both the platelets and the fibrin only become sticky after the exposure. This means in a normal healthy blood vessel, they won't randomly cause clots. So from this video, you should understand the magic of blood clotting. Platelets are first to the scene, closely followed by the fibrin fibers. Our blood clots so that we don't lose a lot of blood, and don't let lots of nasty pathogens into our body if we cut ourselves.
If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Comment below.
All right. Got anything from that? Yes. There's a lengthy process in blood clotting. Very lengthy, but nonetheless, it happens. All right. Some of the words are a little big. So once you get, it's just like a photosynthesis. Such a big word, but once you get used to it, it just becomes a normal part of your routine. So like a fibrinogen might take you a little time to get collagen fiber. Now, one thing even before we begin, I want you to understand the importance of calcium in blood clotting. Calcium is extremely important for blood clotting. What else is calcium important for in the body? What else is calcium needed for in the body? Nobody? Where do we get calcium from? Give me a source that you get calcium from. You can't go silent on me on this one.
In a food, and also like drinks and stuff.
What type of food you get calcium from? Calcium is required for strong bones and teeth. So where do you get it? Milk, cheese.
Oh, yes.
Right. But calcium is also very important to the process of blood clotting. All right. All right, so I'm not going to do all the reading, so somebody have to help me. I'm going to read the first paragraph, and then we move down. Platelets, lacking nuclei, are small fragments about a quarter of the diameter of the erythrocytes. What are erythrocytes again?
Erythrocytes.
Yes, what are erythrocytes? Which type of blood cells are called erythrocytes?
You read what?
The red blood cells. You have to remember now.
Red blood cells are called the erythrocytes.
I want you to do something for me. I want you to write down the words that we have been having the issues with, and I want you to put it over your bed and take a picture of it for me.
We sure that's there.
These words that we're having the issue with: erythrocytes, platelets, prototrobin, tromboplastin, all of these words. Even if you're not so au fait with the meaning, I want you to at least have them, the presence of mind. There are other words too that we have been having some issue with. So we need to Get those words. Like, for example, if I ask you what the clot is called that is formed in the blood vessel, that the artery that goes to the heart, you're not going to be able to tell me. The coronary artery. The clot that forms in the coronary artery that might cause an heart attack, that you have to do what they call a bypass to fix. If I ask you what that condition is called, you're not going to be able to tell me. So those words, you need to have them on paper, like get pictures too, and put them up, because as I said, sometimes in your subconscious, you look at something and you don't even realize that you're looking at it, but it has been going into your head and you don't even realize. So some of the sticky processes that we're having issues remembering. If we put them up in our kitchen, if you like cook, put them in your kitchen. Just hang them up. You don't have to stick them on the wall. Put them on a chart and hang them up. That's why I used to give a lot of chart, you hang them up and then it's just a picture and the word you need to see. You see a picture and you see the word. Yes, it's gone into your subconscious. So try that for me. All right. So there are about 250,000 in 1 milliliter cube of blood. Still way less than the 4 to 5 million in the red blood cells. All right. They are colorless and help in blood clotting at wounds. Tell me something else that is colorless. Jesus Christ.
Water.
David, me say if I could have reached a man, I have my fist all full right now. One thump. Black and white, David. All right. I agree with you, David. Fine. They say black is the absence of all colors, and red and white is the presence of all colors. You're still wrong, as colors is involved.
Sir, water.
Water. Thank you very much, Kamisha. Water, David, is colorless. I have no color. You ever see a glass? A car glass, David? That windshield? Yes. Colorless. Transparent. Yes. All right. So that's platelets description. Now, let us go into blood clotting. You want to read for me, Kamisha?
All right, sir. Blood clotting. When you cut yourself, you will know that the bleeding does not continue for very long.
Right,
Very
that's a second.
soon-
Oh, you can zoom it on your thing, right?
Yes, sir. Let me zoom it so we
I
can.
don't have to zoom it on mine. Nonetheless, I'm gonna zoom it just the same.
All right, sir.
Mm-hmm.
When you cut yourself, you will know that the bleeding does not continue for very long. Very soon, a lump of blood clumps over the wound and seal it to prevent any further bleeding. It also prevents the entry of microorganism. Pronounce that word right, sir?
Yes, man, that's probably, and that's a word that we should know by now. Microorganism, yes.
All right. Skin cannot prevent the entry of bacteria if it becomes cut. A blood clot is very important to prevent the entry of bacteria as well as prevent the loss of blood. That is important. A clot consists of a mesh of fiber which trap the blood cells and platelets at the surface of the wound. The mechanism of clotting occurs in a series of stages. The platelets and the damaged blood vessel release a protein called thromboplastin.
Thromboplastin, yes.
Thromboplastin. This
Thromboplastin.
This and the TH thrombo.
Yeah, man. Thromboplastin.
This thromboplastin acts on a blood protein called prothrombin.
Prototrobin.
Prototrobin.
Yeah, prototrobin, yes.
And turn it.
Thromboplastin acts on prototrobin to turn it into trobin.
So, sir, explain that for me.
All right. we're talking about different type of proteins, right? So when the cut happens, the platelets move to the area, right? First, what is the currency? After the platelets move to the area, this protein that is called thromboplastin also goes to that area and mix up with the platelets. Now, there's another protein now that is called protothrombin. Now, this one, the thromboplastin, cause an action on the thromboplastin and just take off the pro now and change it into thrombin. Now, thrombin is what it wants, you know. It does not want protothrombin, it wants thrombin. So the thromboplastin act on the protothrombin and change it to thrombin, right? Now, this is where calcium comes in now. In order for this reaction to take place, calcium salt must be present. So in order for the protothrombin to be changed to thrombin, then you must have calcium there. That's how important calcium is to blood clotting. So if you don't have a lot of calcium in your diet, you're going to have an issue with your blood clotting. Right? So sometimes when you have you're having issues like your blood not clotting properly, some of the time it's because of the fact that you do not have a lot of calcium in your body. All right. So these, in order for this reaction to take place, we must have calcium. So these salts are normally found in healthy blood, and a healthy diet must contain adequate calcium salts, right? So thrombin acts on another soluble protein in the blood called fibrinogen. That's what the gentleman was talking about in the body. Yes, we soon have a flow chart, Kemisha. You know that I don't do that things like this. I don't do abstract learning. So you're going to see it. All right. So this is the mesh that is formed eventually. Right? When the actions take place, this is the mesh that is formed. All right. All right. So here we go now with the flow chart. All right. So the person is, and I want this to be in your book by tomorrow, not next week. I want it to be in your book by tomorrow. Drawn and be there. Tomorrow I'm going to be looking at it along. I'm going to collect the work. I want to see the picture of it, and I also want a picture of the worksheet sent to the WhatsApp. Tomorrow if we're not having regular classes.
Oh, sir, hold on. If you worksheet now, one part time, I understand.
All right, we'll get to that eventually. Seems like we can't do the code today because we only have 10 minutes left. All right. We soon come to the worksheet, Kemisha. So the knife accidentally cut somebody. Not David. Navard. Now, after the knife cut Navard, the platelets and the damaged capillaries move to the area, right? First responders now, the platelets rush to the area quickly.
Sorry, sir, you want to draw this, sir, in our book?
Yeah, man, I want this drawing and be in your book. Not the one over there with colors, the one, the cycle. I want to see it.